Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. And guys, today we're going to be talking about Uncle Buck on 4K from Kino Lorber. So I showed this off in a recent collection update. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a full review for this until I watched it, and I'm like, I gotta talk about this release. There's several things that I need to let you guys know about this release. But before we get into it, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We talk about all things physical media here on this channel, Blu-rays, 4Ks, owning the movies that you love, all that stuff there behind me every single day. Hit the subscribe button. You guys will enjoy it. If you love movies and physical media, all that stuff. Also, guys, let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about Uncle Buck? Is this your favorite John Candy film? Is this your top 3 John Candy films? Is this one of your favorite comedies of the 80s? Let me know. Favorite John Hughes movie? There's a lot of things that this movie is. Let me know that in the comment section below. So, full disclosure, guys, up front, and we're going to be talking about the movie, guys. We're going to be talking about the movie, the transfer, the special features, unboxing, audio, all that stuff, guys. I like to cover everything in my reviews. But full disclosure, guys, I did not see this movie for the first time until very recently, and this got announced for 4K, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wait for the 4K to come out till I watch this movie for the first time. And I watched all kinds of John Candy movies when I was a kid, like Spaceballs, one of my favorites, Splash, Home Alone, obviously, which is not like really a John Candy movie, but he's in it. And I feel like some other ones I watched when I was a kid never crossed paths with Uncle Buck. So this got announced for 4K, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch this on 4K for the first time. But it took so long to come out. I feel like they announced this for 4K like back in 2022, 2023. I don't know exactly like what the holdup was, but it took a while to do Uncle Buck on 4K. So this got officially announced. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wait till it comes out. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to wait. I want to watch this damn movie. So I watched it on Netflix just like randomly. I think it was last November that I checked this out. And I absolutely loved it. Have you ever like watched a movie and it's like, it feels like it's been a part of you like your entire life? Like that's how I felt when I watched Uncle Buck. Like I watched it for the first time recently, but like thinking back on the movie now, it just feels like a movie that's been a part of me for my whole life. And I think it's because it feels like a lot of different movies that I grew up with. It just feels like of that era, classic John Hughes. You know, you got Macaulay Culkin, that connection with Home Alone in here as well. But it just feels like that classic 80s movie that I grew up with. And it was just so great. Like John Candy is just such an endearing like personality and larger than life character. I'm glad that he got the opportunity because he was playing like side characters a lot in the early 80s in films like Splash and Spaceballs. I'm glad he got the opportunity to be kind of the lead in some films in the late 80s and the 90s before he tragically, passed away too young. And Uncle Buck, I feel like is kind of his movie. Like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, it's him and Steve Martin like co-leading that film. Uncle Buck really is like John Candy's movie. And I know Kino just came out with Summer Rental. I have not seen Summer Rental. Maybe that's a film that's also led by John Candy as well. But it feels like Uncle Buck like is solely a John Candy film. Like he is front and center. He is the star, and he does such a terrific job of leading this movie. And there really is nobody like John Candy. There really is not any. I don't think that there's anybody out there that can say that they don't love John Candy. Not even say that they don't like John Candy. They don't love John Candy. I think everybody that has experienced a John Candy film and a John Candy performance in their life, like it's even if you don't know his name, you're like, I love that guy from Home Alone. Like everybody loves John Candy. It's just almost impossible to not love John Candy. And there has not been anybody like him since John Candy. He just has such a charming, endearing, sweet personality. The way he performs his characters, he just has such a conviction to like all the emotion. Like he is such a good like emotional actor, but he's also a great comedic actor as well. You can relate to him. And I don't see there ever being another performer quite like John Candy, because they don't allow people like John Candy to be like the star anymore. Like the overweight, like mid 30s to late 30s like act. They don't allow people like that to be like stars. And John Candy was a star in the 80s and in the early 90s as well. Like everybody knew John Candy and everybody loved John Candy. And he's front and center in this movie, and it really is a great film. You got a family whose grandfather had just recently had a heart attack, so the parents have to go away. John Candy is the brother to the dad, and they're reluctant to bring him in because John Candy's kind of a down on his luck, loser, a schlub, if you will, irresponsible, getting drunk every night, living in a dirty apartment. So they're reluctant to bring him in to watch the kids, but he's really their only option to do so. So they have to go off to see her dad because he just had a heart attack, and they bring John Candy over to watch their 3 kids for, however long they're out, a week, 2 weeks. I can't exactly remember the time frame. And he has to take care of these kids. What I like about this movie is they portray John Candy as one thing in like the first 15, 20 minutes of the film. But when he's like taking care of the kids, like he's actually a really good, like responsible adult, and he actually tries to take care of them and do the right thing by them. It's not one of those situations where I feel like in a lot of these types of movies, you would get this type of character coming to take care of the kids, and he wouldn't know how to take care of the kids, and he wouldn't know how to do anything right. That's not really John Candy in this film. Like when he comes in, he's almost like a pro. He's taking care of the 2 little kids, one of them whom is played by Macaulay Culkin, but he's trying to protect the teenage daughter she's a teenager. She wants to go out and do all kinds of crazy things. And she's really giving him a hard time, like all the time. Like the teenage girl in this film who's played by Jean Louise Kelly, like she really is like just that classic like pain in the ass teenager. She is a nightmare to deal with. Like just her facial expressions. She's so good in the movie at playing the character, but it's like you don't like her at all because she's such a pain in the ass to John Candy. She's just giving it to him like the whole time. Almost it feels like for no reason other than he's just trying to protect her from some things. And of course, like he embarrasses her with the car when he takes her to school and all that stuff. But she's really great in the role, and their relationship really is kind of the heart of the movie because how that develops and how things, turn around when you get towards the end of the film. Now, getting into this 4K, guys, this is what I want to say right here. Getting into this 4K, native 4K, Dolby Vision, HDR10, I feel like this took such a long time for Kino to do. And this is from Universal. So I don't know if Universal had a hand in the 4K restoration process at all. But I feel like this took such a long time because this might be the best 4K that Kino Lorber's ever done. And I'm saying this as a huge fan of the Crybaby 4K. And I feel like that's one of the best 4Ks that they've ever done. But this 4K is magnificent. And for all of you all out there that's like, we don't need comedies in 4K. Why did we need Uncle Buck in 4K? To me, guys, look, it's a movie. Like, it's a movie. It was shot on film. It has a certain, like, cinematic quality to it. Like, John Hughes is a great director. Like, he has tons of, like, great shots and, like, cinematography in his films. And to me, like, this movie in 4K is just outstanding. It's magnificent. It's a film. Like, why would you want any movie on 4K? I feel like some people out there, it's like, I only need, like, action movies in 4K. I only need, like, these grand, like, sci-fi epics, like, Close Encounters of the Third Kind or 2001. Like, it has to have some kind of like grand scope and like epic feel to it to warrant a 4K. That's not the case at all. Like, people will go crazy over these like generic slashers from the 80s on 4K, but we can't have Uncle Buck on 4K. Like, why not? It has the same cinematic value as Madman, and we got that on 4K. Why not get Uncle Buck on 4K? So I don't understand the whole thing where we don't need comedies on 4K. Comedies are films. They're movies, like shot on film. They can look better on 4K, like 100%. And Uncle Buck does. This is a stunning like feat for a 4K restoration. I think that honestly, it might be up there. It might be top 3 4Ks of 2025 so far. This is a magnificent 4K with incredible detail. The color grading looks incredible. Like, there's a scene like right in the beginning with John Candy. He's either in a restaurant or he's in a bar. I think he might be in a bar, but he's got these like lights like over his head, kind of illuminating his head, and you kind of see them reflecting off of his hair, and just like how he looks in that scene, like his face, the facial detail is so perfect, the tones are so perfect, the outfit that he's wearing so perfect, you can see every detail. But that, to me, like that shot, I think this is such a good 4K. And like I said, the movie's got great like cinematic quality and visuals to it. It is a film that came out in the 80s. Why do you want Back to the Future on 4K? Why do you want Jurassic Park on 4K? Why do you want like Jaws on 4K? And you don't want Uncle Buck on 4K? They're all movies, right? Like with a certain cinematic value to them. They all got people in them. They can all look better than the regular standard Blu-ray. And this absolutely does. Like, I remember watching this on streaming. Now, I didn't watch the Blu-ray. I don't own the Blu-ray other than the Blu-ray that's in the set now, which we'll talk about in a second. But on streaming, like it didn't look very good at all. Like it looked decent. It looked okay. But like watching this on 4K was really like a brand new experience. And yeah, every inch of this film, like from beginning to end, is just dripping with cinematic 4K goodness. Like it looked perfect from beginning to end. There was not a weak spot in this 4K at all. You know, there's some 4Ks where you feel like certain scenes and sequences just weren't properly restored, or just couldn't be properly restored because of the original elements. Not the case with Uncle Buck. I guess they took care of this film, for the past 30 years. But this was or 35 years, sorry guys, such a great 4K. I cannot overstate like how good this movie looked on 4K. And look, if you got this on Blu-ray and you're happy with it, that's fine. But if you want like Uncle Buck in the best possible picture quality, like you're gonna want to get this 4K, because this 4K is just so magnificent. Like I feel like it might be the best 4K that I've seen all year. It was just so good. Like the bowling alley, like looked great in 4K. There's so many great sequences. Like I know it's a simple movie with simple locations, like the house and stuff, but all of it just looks so good. Like it's impossible for me to ignore how good it looks, just because like it doesn't have that grand, like epic scope of like a Blade Runner or something like that. I just think Uncle Buck, like it's just one of the best 4Ks I've ever seen. I don't know what else to say about it. Such a good 4K. So I highly recommend the 4K here. Getting into the audio, guys, you got the DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. You've also got the DTS HD Master Audio 2.0. I don't think there was any audio upgrade here, from the Blu-ray. Now going back and getting into the Blu-ray, real quick, the Blu-ray on this also has a 4K scan. It looks very good as well, but not as good as the 4K with that Dolby Vision HDR, which I really think kind of makes the 4K what it is. But nice audio here. This movie's got a great soundtrack, a great score. It's not the kind of movie you need an Atmos upgrade or anything like that, except for maybe the car doing the backfire, like when he pulls up to the school and stuff, just blowing out. Like that sounded great, with the 5.1. Maybe it would sound better in the Dolby Atmos, but really good sound quality here. Cannot complain about the sound quality. Now get into the unboxing, guys. Like what more do you want, from a 4K like cover? Just the classic poster of Uncle Buck with a 4K banner. It looks absolutely stunning. You got the spine right there. You look at the back, you got the synopsis of the film, you got special features, which we'll talk about here in a second, and you got the casting list down below. Take it out of the slipcover, you got the same image on the inside, you got the same stuff on the back right there. Open it up, you do have both the 4K and the Blu-ray, and yes, I know Kino Lorber, very basic, generic disc art on the Kino Lorber releases. But yeah, just that, look, Kino Lorber doesn't do anything like super extravagance with their packaging, and they don't need to. Like Uncle Buck right now, it's going for $31.49. I expect the price on this one to probably go down a little bit, and it'll probably be in a future like Kino Lorber sale for maybe $18.99. So I like how Kino Lorber, they keep their stuff affordable, for the consumer by not putting their stuff in like big extravagant box sets. So like every like label and studio, like they have their thing, and Kino Lorber is really good at just putting out these nice like durable slip covers. Like I do think the Kino Lorber slips are like better than most of the studio and boutique label slips for sure. But yeah, just really nice solid packaging right here. What more do you want? The classic poster on the cover. Now let's get into the special features, guys, because I was actually surprised that there was a brand new special feature here, but also there's two audio commentaries here, and they're new audio commentaries. You got an audio commentary by film historians Alexander Heller Nicholas and Josh Nelson, and you also have an audio commentary by film historian Joe Ramone. So you have two brand new audio commentaries, but you also have a 16 going on 17 interview with actress Jean Louisa Kelly, who plays the teenage girl. I cannot remember her name off the top of my head. The teenage girl in this movie, and she gives like a 20-minute interview talking about Uncle Buck and working with John Candy and just working with John Hughes and working on the film. And it's her character, because her character like really goes through like a wide, because she's playing a 15-year-old girl, going through a wide like range of emotions, and she pulls all those emotions off wonderfully. So she does a great job. And I did not realize that was the same actress, because I used to be a big fan of the comedy sitcom Yes Dear, and it's one of the wives in that show, and I did not realize that was the same person. So she would go on to do other stuff and sitcoms and stuff like that. I believe she still acts to this day. But really great feature, and I did not realize this had a new feature. And not a lot of the Kino Lorber stuff has new features, but they got a new interview for Uncle Buck, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, 20-minute new interview, 2 new audio commentaries, making this, again, more worth it than the average, Kino Lorber 4K upgrade, which won't always have new special features. So yeah, Uncle Buck, guys, it is a winner. This gets a thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Can I do 2 thumbs up for Uncle Buck? I think this is a fantastic 4K release from Kino Lorber, and one that, look, if you don't want to get it now for $31.49, wait for a sale. I recommend owning this though, especially if you don't have Uncle Buck in the collection. Such a great movie. But yeah, really great release from Kino Lorber. I think this is one of the best 4Ks of the year. One of the best 4Ks I've ever seen, to be completely honest. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.